Remember how I told you guys I'd make a sort of special video on Sunday? Well, here it is. This wasn't really a video most were expecting, and honestly, I wasn't expecting it either. This entire idea came from an old film I watched recently, and I remember just how much time has passed from the first time watching it to now. It's no surprise that the T-Rex is the most popular dinosaur in history, no matter what we discover next. Even if it's another megaceropod that's bigger and stronger than the T-Rex, it won't replace the Tyrant King's legacy. Admittedly, T-Rex isn't even in my top 10 list of favorite dinosaurs, but it's still one I have to give credit for regardless. I mean, it was living proof of nature going to the extreme. We've seen many films made and gone, be it documentary, series, or movie, a lot having their own distinct version of a T-Rex. Some of the most popular ones are characters like Rexy and the V-Rex of Kong Skull Island, which are widely known amongst the people who don't even like dinosaurs. However, there are some really underrated Rexes that made some of us dinosaur enthusiasts love these animals even more. And I'm not talking about the somewhat known ones. In this video, I'm gonna list what I think are the most underrated T-Rexes ever shown to us on screen. One of them doesn't even have a name, but just seeing her image will make you sit on the edge of your bed and think, damn, am I old? And there's another who I'm sure a lot of you have never even heard about. By the way, today, like every week, there's gonna be a poll in the Discord that decides what video is gonna be posted on Wednesday, so go over and cast your vote. We've got a bunch of channels where you could converse with me and everyone else in the server as well. So without further ado, let's get into some of the most underrated T-Rex that have been lost in time. It is no surprise that Prehistoric Planet possibly has the best T-Rex model in a documentary, or at least one of the best, and the entire series as a whole was amazing. There's some special episodes coming out soon about prehistoric mammals too, I believe, and while the narration and accuracy is great, for me it just falls short of Walking with Dinosaurs storytelling. No, not this shameful remake. I want to smack you with a newspaper if you were even thinking about that. I'm talking about the OG of OGs, back when there were 150-ton Liopleurodons and bald raptors with bent hands. And yet, despite these inaccuracies, the entire Walking with series holds a very special place in every dinosaur fan's memory. They managed to make certain individuals special without even giving them names, revolving the story around the specific animal for the episode. One of these animals was the mother Tyrannosaurus, the final main character for Death of Dynasty. The model truthfully is kinda ugly and doesn't really match modern reconstructions that much, and the weight is off a lot, as in the documentary T-Rex had a max weight of 6 tons, less than half the weight of the largest specimens we have today. And yet, every time I see a clip with that model, I usually stop and watch the video. This mother T-Rex really pulled the world's first hookup culture. Sis slept with the dude, and after he didn't get the hint to leave, she chased him off and would have probably killed him if he didn't go. And this was also a period of time where it was generally believed that most megaceropods had sexual dimorphism, where the female was usually bigger than the males, like most modern raptors, or at least some. Honestly, I felt bad for the male. Dude risked his life trying to take down a Triceratops, and even though it was a gift for her, he still had to hide behind the bushes. Like crocodiles today, she stayed right next to her nest and didn't move that far away, going on a temporary fast until the chicks hatched. Also, like all clutches of eggs, egg thieves of course got the most of the eggs, and only 3 little dinosaurs came out from them. After seeing this mother Tyrannosaurus wasted no time in absolutely butchering an Anata Titan to bring pieces back to her chicks, one of which just got bullied into starvation, which is very common amongst raptors today. The dominant chick or chicks will usually kill the weaker one to reduce competition, and the parents almost always allow it. Despite her having a few more months until that maternal bond was broken, she risked leg and limb in order to save or protect them, and she actually did risk her leg. The mere presence of an Ankylosaurus near the nest site triggered a protective reaction that normally wouldn't be present, and in the end she paid the ultimate price, with a smash to the thigh and heavy internal bleeding, and in the end she limped away in agony, completely forgetting the reason she even picked the fight, seeking comfort she would sadly never find, as she died not too long after. Her chicks also followed pursuit not too long after the asteroid hit, hence bringing the real Walking with Dinosaurs to an end. The reason I like the Rexes in this series is that they weren't really trying to make it into a movie character, yet it felt that way while trying to maintain what everyone thought was accurate at the time. They clearly mentioned that when the maternal bond was broken, she would abandon or even eat her chicks, and the harsh world of an apex predator, clearly demonstrating the maternal instinct seen in modern predators today that take on animals that can kill them in order to keep their brood safe. If you're wondering, this was the T-Rex that made me want to watch the video, or make the video. Like every couple of months I just start binge watching the entire Walking with series. I think it's tradition at this point. But the next T-Rex is the furthest thing from accuracy, as it's a Rex that almost no one knows. Well, yeah, I was right. I'm sure none of you know it. Well, most of you. You Are Almost Saw was a show I discovered relatively late compared to other dinosaur movies that were out at the time. I think I was around 15 or 16 when I first saw it, and man, I'm glad I did. The story encompasses a little T-Rex called Hart who was taken in by a female Myosaur after almost being killed by the herd leader because he was a big jaw. Big jaws are what the movie calls Rexes, by the way. So with most of her eggs destroyed and not wanting to kill an innocent life, despite knowing Hart kind eats her, she isolated herself from the herd and moved more inland to raise Hart and his Myosaur brother, Light. The thing with Hart is that he relatively quickly got over his disdain for meat. Obviously being raised by a herbivore, he would be more reluctant to try anything else. But everything changed when he stumbled across a group of adult big jaws, taking down and killing a Triceratops. The head honcho of all the Rexes in the area is One-Eye Baku. Baku and the other Rexes were confused as to why Hart was so terrified of them, but eventually Baku just told him to go home. However, one did follow them back and tried to eat Light, which triggered Hart into biting off his tail and eating it. After this meal, the realization that he enjoyed it gave him a wake-up call. He is a carnivore, and so Hart lived on the plains and literally was able to knock out herds of sauropods with his speed and strength. Like, this is some Naruto type stuff, which isn't that surprising seeing that it's an anime. Eventually he finds an egg that he was gonna eat until a little Ankylosaur he would soon call Omosaur hatched. He was hesitant at first but soon decided to raise little Anky as his own until he could fend for himself, which doesn't go too well because when he leaves Omosaur alone, the other big jaws beat him half to death, and Hart goes Super Saiyan and beats the snot out of the entire group. However, when Baku pulls up and tells him that he's banished for the act, he quickly surrenders, until Baku threatens to kill his adoptive mom and siblings. Oh, I forgot, the mom's real son abandoned his mother for a bit to be with the herd, even though he now had small siblings, so Hart rightfully gave him an earful. But regardless, Hart was forced to then fight One-Eye Baku, and this may just be the coolest T-Rex fight I've ever seen. Aside from prehistoric parks, Hart was laying some hard hits against his giant rival, kicking and headbutting him, but every hit Baku made significantly drained Hart's health. In the end, Baku did win but was beaten up too, and he probably would have killed Hart if his mom didn't intervene. And in the end, Baku let his son live. Oh, didn't I tell you? Hart is almost certainly Baku's son, since the old Rex that lives near the mountain with all the berries mentions that Baku lost an egg, which makes sense seeing that no other Rex in the area can defeat Hart or Baku in a straight up fight, so he's got his dad's genetics. This movie didn't have the classic scene where the main character is unstoppable and faces no punishment. Even in the final battle when he fought, the power of friendship or family didn't make him win the fight. Instead, Baku probably just realized that it was his son and understood what he went through to protect his family, so he let it slide this time. There's a lot more to the story that I won't be able to cover in this video, but I highly recommend you guys go ahead and watch it if you haven't already. Diving back into the realm of documentaries, we have another T-Rex from a decently old series. However, some of the behaviors seem to be more human-like than actual dinosaurs. Dinosaur Revolution, the first documentary where dinosaurs have a theme song. The Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park had Monster, and Broken Jaw in Dinosaur Revolution had Lonely Road. Like Walking with Dinosaurs, a lot of these characters didn't have names, but you could tell that individuals were the main focus. The T-Rexes were no different. The two main ones were of course Stumpy and his mate Tinkerbell, who are honestly the ultimate power couple. This show is known for giving these dinosaurs faces and emotions that are very human-like, expressions of shock, some can smile, and others like Tinkerbell show extreme depression after realizing her entire clutch has been killed, refusing to eat or even move. Only Stumpy could have helped her out of that, and he did. Usually animals would soon accept their loss of their young and try again, well, most reptiles would at least. But Tinkerbell really was sad. The reason for this sadness was the villain of the documentary, the one and only Jack Palance. I don't know if I said this, but Jack Palance and the male Rexes in the verse in general are my favorite design for a T-Rex documentary or otherwise. I don't know if I said a different Rex was my favorite in a previous video, and if I did, I was wrong. The skull look the males in this documentary have on their heads looks so cool. Jack is introduced very early into the show and is the reason why Stumpy is called, well, Stumpy, as the two are fighting over territory. And with the size difference, it's no surprise that Jack won. And in true menace fashion, tore Stumpy's arm off and ate it right in front of him. If that ain't villainy, then I don't know what is. Eating your rival's arm mid-fight gotta be the ultimate power move. You could tell Jack is in his prime, while Stumpy's a young adult who has the distinct skull-like crest and marks, but not as developed as Jack's, who looks like the Grim Reaper of Rexes. But why stop at his rival's arm? He took this a step further and ate Stumpy's kids. Not surprising since many predators will eliminate the offspring of other males in order to secure their own bloodline. But the way they made Tinkerbell so sad honestly made me sad. Not sadder than Broken Jaw's mother literally abandoning him, but sad nonetheless. The final encounter with Jack was when he faced off with Stumpy once more, and our boy Stumper actually got a decent hit in from the start, but of course was quickly overpowered and almost lost his other arm. But Tink came in clutch like the good mate she is, and landed a nasty leg shot on Jack. giving Stumpy an opening to push him onto the horn of the Triceratops the pair just killed. Even in his final moments, dude looks like an absolute stud. And thus, Jack was no more as Stumpy and Tink reared a chick to a juvenile, which didn't last long since the asteroid soon came and, well, you get the rest. Aside from Jack's overall behavior, Tink's was pretty interesting. You know, I thought since it was a documentary she would just let the two males fight it out and whoever wins secure the bloodline with her, but then again, some raptors and birds in general pair for life and will defend each other, so I guess it kinda makes sense. Regardless, if it wasn't for that Triceratops skull, it's likely that one of the Rexes in the pair would have been killed. And so that's my top 3 most underrated T-Rexes in television history. If you guys can give me any more you can think of, then leave it in the description. But that's all for now folks, enjoy your Sunday.